Hello everybody and welcome to the rugby discussion, and this week I'll be talking about mixed ability rugby, and with me today is Gwilym. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, that's good to be here. Thank you for that.
So you are part of the Llanelli Warriors over in Wales, and so how long have you guys been going for?
It's the Warriors' 21st season just completing now over here. So we're just looking at a summer tour at the end of our 21st season.
Wow, okay, that's been going for a long time. I must admit, for me, I've become kind of aware of mixed ability sports, and particularly mixed ability rugby, over the last 6 to 12 months. So clearly I've been a bit of an ignoramus about this whole thing going on. So can you explain to us what you mean by mixed abilities and who can get involved in this kind of sport?
Right, okay. Mixed ability is basically teams that make a concerted effort to try and get people with learning disability, intellectual disabilities involved with rugby. From there, I guess it's a very social sort of standard, isn't necessarily very high, and we have a lot of people with perhaps a bit of physical difficulties or stuff as well. But the learning disability was a sort of the starting point, trying to get people with learning disabilities the chance to get involved.
Oh, fantastic! And it's when you say that was a starting point and a chance to get involved. How big is this grown into now? I mean, because if you feel like you've got one of the sort of early teams involved in this.
Yeah. A quick history. There's one side older than us, Swansea Gladiators. They just celebrated their 25th anniversary, and there was a slightly older side. But about 7 years ago, an English side came on board, the Bumblebee Barbarians, and some Scottish sides started up. And obviously, from there, it sort of gathered pace a little bit now. So there's quite a few sides, and they came across a similar group in Italy, and there's now groups in Argentina. And Ireland have got a team. Scotland has 3 teams. So it's sort of a gathering pace a little bit now.
And did you guys go to a kind of was it the mixed ability games and have now become sort of part of a global tournaments as well?
There was last August there was a mixed ability Rugby World Cup, sort of just before the main Rugby World Cup. That was set up by the Bumbles and International Mixed Ability Sport, and they invited, I think there were 10 or 12 sides involved, and that was pretty much all the teams at that point. But since then, there's been a sort of another 8, and they're looking to hold a second edition of that in Spain in August, in the Basque Country. So that was sort of a special tournament where only teams like that were playing. But what we try and do, I mean, that was a sort of a bit of a special one. What we try and do mainly is just be a normal rugby team, part of the sort of rugby culture, playing normal, for want of a better words, normal rugby sides, in the community.
That's fantastic. And so clearly that the Rugby World Cup was a big, got you kind of well known, gave a lot of publicity to the sports, and it is now snowballing from that, which is fantastic news. And I think that's probably where I first heard about it as well. Did you guys win that tournament? I think did I see that on one of the tweets?
No, it wasn't us. We got.
Oh no,
we
okay.
got. I'm sure this is a wind up now. We only lost one game and we drew one, but we ended up 6th. But the Irish side, the Sunday Wells Rebels, swept all before them and took the title. Fantastic.
So when I was reading your, because you guys are currently fundraising, aren't you, for your end of season, your anniversary tour, that's the summer tour that's coming up, and I'll put a link of that in underneath in the recording for people who want to contribute to that. I noticed in there when reading that you mentioned that it's not the full rules you guys play. You try and play as close to the standard set of rules, but there are some differences. Which so I think you mentioned there that you have uncontested scrums for safety reasons. But are there any other? How close to how close to the full rules do you guys play?
Yeah, that's right. We have passive scrums. A lot of our players are new to the game. So we haven't got experienced prop forward, so we'd have to bring in special players, and sort of it would be just too much there. And also with Down syndrome, there's a fusion of the neck, which part of the conditions would be dangerous. But for the Warriors, that is the only difference. We try and have a bit of a chat with the other team and say, look, make the tackles you make. Everybody wants to play. If we play on a Sunday, we all want to go to work on a Monday. We try and take that sort of really competitive edge out of it, and think. But I mean, we've had people put 50, 60 points on us. It's pretty full on. Some of the teams like to mark out some of the more vulnerable players. They'll have a skull cap or shorts or something, but we don't. We're not the only ones who don't. We think. We don't want to talk about disabilities. It's about, if you don't know who they are, well, that's sort of job done.
Yeah, sorry, you cut it out there about the tackling. I guess, sorry, you just asked people to keep the tackling down and not, and just, make it just normal.
Well, just not to perhaps, just take that sort of top end aggression out of a game, so that, so we all get, make the tackles that you have to make, rather than, if somebody can't run very fast and then they get smashed by someone who's played the game, a sort of massive second row. That's not really a lot of fun for everybody. But I mean, those tackles, everybody on the field is aware that they might be tackled. And some of the games have been pretty full on. But and so therefore the rules is just the passive scrums.
Yep.
But we try and have a bit of a sort of a, this is like a vets game, or a sort of a Christmas game. You just be a bit of sense.
No, absolutely. I mean, I've given up contact rugby because I got too small and got squashed all the time. But as you say, it's social. Everyone's got to go to work on Monday morning. It's fun. No one wants to get properly hurt. So I get totally where you're coming from. So you play pretty much the full rules apart from, or the full laws. Actually, I'll get crucified by people for calling the rules. The full laws apart from the passive scrum. Which is fantastic. So what kind of ratio do you guys, as you say, you talk about abilities rather than disabilities, what kind of ratio of sort of full ability compared to not full ability do you I'm not sure what terminology I'm supposed to use, do you try and have in the teams?
It tends to work out with us. We've always found that it works quite well for us, about 50-50. What tends to happen is, because prop is a non-specialist position because of the scrums, so the most of the pack will tend to have boys with disabilities, and then a more experienced, a couple of more experienced players to make sure that everyone's running in the same direction pretty much. And then in the backs, then it tends to be more experienced players playing 9, 10, 12, probably 13, and then the back three, there's a bit more scope for people because it's not that positional, not as much positional positional sort of play involved. Then sort of back three, the out three tend to be disabilities, but there's no hard and fast rule. We've played with, I think 10 plus on several occasions, and then sometimes, if depending on who turns up, the race should be less. It just whoever's there, everybody gets a game, rolling subs. So but about 50-50.
Now, I think rolling subs is a great idea. I used to play hockey, and we had rolling subs in hockey, and it means that the person on the bench doesn't just get 10 minutes at the end. I personally, one of the topics I probably will try and cover separately is going to be whether we should have different laws now for professional game and the amateur game. And I think one of the ones we should bring in, perhaps the amateur game, to help people feel more part of it is rolling subs. I just think that if you're going to take a Saturday off and turn up for a few hours to only get 10 minutes at the end of the game is harsh, and you can't really expect people to be turning up for that. But that's a separate topic, I guess. That's great. I think that was the three. So well, we got through this a lot quicker than I was expecting. But so when you talk about learning disabilities, we're talking about, so you say Down syndrome. It's not because I'm dyslexic. You're not talking about that kind of that kind of thing.
No, we're talking. Obviously we try not to go into it too much, but people who've got a disability rather than a difficulty is, I guess, a technical term. It tends to be, certainly in Britain, or the UK, it's based around an IQ level. If you get into nitty gritty, we talk to the social workers, we talk to MenCap. the gateway groups and things like that, and then obviously word of mouth and friends and stuff. So that's sort of, and some of the college courses for people who, you know, need non-academic, I don't say low level, but, you know, simple living courses would you know, we've had people come on from them, specialist colleges. So that's sort of, yeah, so it's a disability rather than a difficulty. But yeah, I mean, some, you know, the lines blur. We've got people who don't count themselves as disabled, and people who do, and, you know, their abilities are very close, and, you know, it's, yeah, we get away from that. Yeah, I tell you, sure, what else you were going to say about was how welcoming the rugby fraternity have been to us.
Was, so anyone who's watching, if you know someone who can basically catch a ball and walk, they're invited to come along to one of these clubs, and can join in.
Exactly. Yeah, any ability, and that goes, so whether you've got a disability or not. You know, we've had people who've been retired that, you know, don't want the week in, week out league, local derbies, you know, but they do still fancy playing a game. They still got something to offer. Or novices who've never tried a game, but they can see it as a nice way in. Players with and without disabilities have gone on to play for their local clubs, and you know, play more mainstream rugby as well. So yeah, anyone who doesn't mind being potentially knocked over and fancies trying to knock somebody else over, they can come along.
Fabulous. And yes, as you say, the one that I was talking about was how you've been accepted within the community. Because I've had a couple of talks already, talking about rugby inclusion, including some guys, two guys who are fans and reporters who are in wheelchairs, and we've been talking about the access they get to stadiums. It's been a bit mixed, the response they've got from different clubs. How have you guys found other clubs treating you guys?
All the clubs have been really welcoming. The two attitudes you get are, some people sometimes a bit patronizing attitude, is sort of, all right, okay, or, you know, let's sort of play along with it a little bit. But usually that sort of disappears after 20 minutes or something, and the game gets not tasty but competitive. But I mean, even that attitude is a positive attitude, in that they want us, you know, they're pleased to see us involved and stuff. And, you know, we're based in one of the sort of great rugby culture areas, you know, South Wales, Llanelli, and the local clubs. I got to mention Buryport because they host us, but Cefneithin, Betws, when we go up to Cardiff, Old Penarthians, Gwlad, when we go up the valleys, everybody, you know, once they see it, it's fantastic. It's such a positive thing. So we have people who've played representative rugby at different ages and such, like, say, it's the best, you know, it's the most proud I've been on the field. It's the best, most positive thing I've seen in rugby. It's, you know, and, you know, that's a great thing to hear. And everyone likes, you know, a pint afterwards and maybe a song, and, you know, yeah, it's great. They get stuck in with us, and it just works really well. It really suits rugby.
Cool. Do you want to let us know where you're going on tour this summer, and what your plans are?
Our plans are, we're heading out to New Zealand. We're coming to watch a little bit of the Lions, and originally we were going to follow the Welsh island hop, as it were, but then Wales weren't going to cancel their Fiji fixture, and obviously the Tonga ones moved to Auckland. So we just, you know, so there we are. Everybody else is going to New Zealand, so we're going to New Zealand. We're going to stay in Auckland and Hamilton, and we're going to pop over to Samoa for a match over there as well. And we're going to watch both the Welsh tests. We're going to, obviously now we're going to be able to watch the New Zealand Samoa test as well. We're going to watch the Chiefs and the Lions, and we'll be in the country for the rest of it. So we did it in 2005 as well, so it's our second visit, and we're looking forward to some old friends and, yeah, getting stuck in again.
Oh, fantastic! Well, do drop me a line when you're here. It would be great to catch up, because I'm in Auckland myself. So I'm going to the I've got the Blues tickets and tickets to the two Lions test matches at Eden Park, and I'm looking at now maybe getting tickets for the Welsh game as well, because that's the week before the test matches kick off, and the tickets go on sale actually this weekend, for those of you who are wondering, because that only got announced yesterday. You're well up on your on what's going on there.
We've been waiting for that event for quite a while. Tenterhooks.
Yeah, that's another topic. The organisation. So fantastic. So yeah, please, if you're watching, do visit the site. There's lots of information on the link I will put below about the tour, also about the club, and about the mixed ability rugby as well. As I say, it's something that I think the Rugby World Cup brought to my attention last year, and it's something that is growing, and clearly is something that is appreciated by both by the community and also by the rugby community as a whole, and also by these players who get this opportunity to be part of something normal when quite often they're not allowed to be, which I think is fantastic. Any other things you'd like to kind of tell me about or discuss?
Well, it's just really sort of, I mean, we sort of talked about it from a rugby perspective and how it sort of works that way. Of course, it works the other way in that people with learning disability, they as you said, they're not allowed to do things normal. There's a big campaign in this country at the moment about sort of presenting people with learning difficulties as not having special needs and not particularly special. And you know, we have so many risk assessments and things now that it sort of, you know, all the cotton wool can sort of hamper the inclusion. And the stats would say that people with disabilities are lonelier, they're more likely to mental illness and all this sort of related stuff. And rugby just works so well because you have that respect for just anybody who crosses a white line and goes out and plays there. And you have that, instead of sort of a weird situation where you're not quite sure what to say, you can have a pint afterwards and you can talk about that tackle or the weather or how rubbish the referee was or any of the other sort of hot topics that, you know, that affect rugby players across the world. So it's, you know, it's so good for our boys. You know, we've said how good it is for rugby, but for the boys with disabilities, they make friends and they do things that, you know, that we try and do things that would make any rugby player jealous, like going to Samoa. You know, the amount of European players who've played there is a tiny fraction, and these boys will be able to go back and say, oh yeah, you know, when they're sitting in the clubhouse and people say, oh, remember this tour and that tour, they'll be the ones who finish the conversation with, oh yeah, Samoa was quite good. So it's a really, rugby's really positive for the inclusion from that point, and you know, I think we bring something to rugby and rugby brings something to us. So it probably wouldn't work in other sports. You know, the teamwork and stuff you need in rugby and the physicality make it perfect. So, and yeah, if you know, there are lots of teams now. You know, if we have a look at the website, there's sort of mentions the other teams. There's an Ability Rugby International Facebook page which has got lots of links and stuff. And yeah, people should have a, you know, try and get involved.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're a family member or friend who and you're watching this, or in fact you yourself, give it a go. Get down to one of these clubs, and I'm envious. I've had 2 back operations, so I don't get involved in any contact. I just play touch rugby, which, if you listen to some podcasts, isn't real rugby anyway. So perhaps I'm not a real rugby player, but whereas these guys are. So that's cool. Thank you very much for your time. It has been a wonderful chat, and as I say, let's catch up when you are here over in New Zealand for the Lions tour.
Oh, nice one, Paul. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers now.